So my mug addiction continues because I got a new mug this week. Isn't it purty? I think so. Hello everyone, it is Sam and I hope you guys are having a great one today. I am here with a tag video for you guys. I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag because everybody and their brother has been doing it and I'm a sheep. I'll be linking the original creators of this tag, Chammy and Ellie, down below, so be sure to check them out and give them all the love. So the basic premise of this tag is to reflect upon your reading year thus far. We are halfway through the year, a little over halfway through the year, which means that we are that much closer to Christmas, which, let's be real, that's the only thing I care about. So a lot of these questions are actually prompts that help me to tell you guys what things I have been loving this year. So without further ado, let's just dive into these questions. Question number 1 is the best book that I have read this year. That is going to have to go to Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin, the second book in the Broken Earth trilogy. This book was so good. I enjoyed it so much more than the 5th season. It just blew me out of the water. I love everything about this book. I like how N.K. Jemisin is taking the fantasy genre and doing something new with it, and it's just really, really engaging, interesting, and fresh story that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I cannot wait to get my hands on the Stone Sky. A few more weeks and it gets released, and I can't wait. Question number 2 is the best sequel I have read so far this year. I'm again going to have to give that to Obelisk Gate. It is book 2. It's a sequel to book 1 because that's how things work, because 1, 2, I can count. Question number 3 is a new release that I haven't read yet, but I really want to. Does the Stone Sky count? But it's not yet released, but it's going to be released. I'm trying to think of books that have come out this year so far. I'm terrible about keeping up on new releases, unless it's from an author that I love. I'm awful at it. I'm actually going to have to give it to Our Dark Duet in the Monsters of Verity duology by Victoria Schwab. So I really enjoyed The Savage Song, which is book 1. I read it at the beginning of this year because it was one of the books nominated for the SFF Awards. Really enjoyed book 1 and I want to finish out the series. Number 5 is the biggest disappointment of the year. This will probably not come as a shock to anybody who's followed my channel, but that is going to be Nine Fox Gambit by Yoon-Ha Lee. I had really high expectations for this book because a lot of people I know really thoroughly enjoyed this book, but it was a complete and utter miss for me. I did not enjoy it at all. I was not invested in any aspect of this book. I wasn't invested in the characters, the plot, the minimal world building that we did get. I just did not like this book whatsoever, and I'm glad it's out of my life forever. Question number 6 is biggest surprise. I'm actually going to give this to Madam President, The Extraordinary Journey of Ellen Searleaf. This is a book that I actually read for my book club at work. It's actually a biography about Ellen Searleaf. I don't read a lot of biographies. I think I may have only read one in the past, but I thoroughly enjoyed this one a lot more than I thought I would. It was definitely a very engrossing book about this woman. She definitely had a very fascinating and hard life. I just found it really cool to read a biography about somebody that is still living, and she's actually still president of Liberia. She's stepping down in October, and yeah, it was just a really fascinating read, and it definitely blew me out of the water and made me more interested in picking up more biographies in the future. Question number 7 is a favorite new author. This can either be a debut or someone who is new to me. I'm actually going to go with Stina Light, who is the author of Blood and Honey. Blood and Honey is a book that I actually read this month because it was the book that won my book club at work. It was the one that I nominated, so I was pretty excited. I've been wanting to read this book for years, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've never read anything by her again. I cannot wait to get my hands on the sequel and her other books, and I just loved it so much. It was so good. It was a dark urban fantasy set in Ireland during the time of the Troubles in the 70s, and oh guys, it was so good. I loved her writing. I love the story. I love the characters. It just... I need book 2 now. Question number 8 is newest fictional crush. I don't get crushes on book characters. I just don't. I mean, I don't. So I have no answer for this question. Question number 9 is my newest favorite character. I'm gonna give this to Isla Flynn, which is the character from The Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. Isla is August's sister, but she was actually one of my favorite characters of that book. I just really liked her character. She kind of had this fae-ness to her that I really enjoyed, and I love fae characters. She's definitely a character that I felt drawn to the most out of all the books that I've read this year, because though I've read some pretty good books this year, none of the characters have really completely blown me out of the water, or they're just not new favorites for me. So if I had to go with anybody, I'm going to have to go with Isla Flynn. Question number 10 is a book that made you cry. Yep. Assassin's Fate is the last book in the Land of the Elderlings series by Robin Hobb. It finishes out Fitz and the Fool's story. In the end, guys, definitely left me a little bit teary-eyed. So this is the one book this year that has made me cry. Question number 11 is a book that made you happy. I'm going to give this one to Tyrant's Throne by Sebastian de Castell, the final book in the Great Coat series. I am too lazy to go and get it from the top of my bookshelf, but I do in fact own it. But I love this book so much, it made me so happy. I mean, it definitely has some very like kind of tear-jerking moments in it, but I just love these characters so much, and he has a really fantastic smattering of humor throughout his books, so I definitely laugh a lot while reading his books, and I enjoy his humor, so this was definitely the one book that made me very happy this year. Not only because of the humor, but also because I got it in my hands and I was finally able to read it and be back with those characters, because I love Falkio, Kest, and Brasti so much. Question number 12 is the most beautiful book that you have purchased this year or received. Actually, I haven't received too many books that have blown me away in terms of their cover art, but I do have two favorites that I will show you guys. The first one is actually Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin. I, of course, purchased this one myself, but I really, really enjoy the cover. I just love all of the colors, not just because they match my hair, but in general, I think the cover looks very cool. Kind of reminds me a little bit of an old medieval garden gate or something, but I really like this cover. I think it just fits somehow. And the next one I have, which is funny enough in the purple color scheme as well, as Madame Bovary. I actually received this from my friend Gina for my birthday, so thank you, Gina. I collect the Word Cloud Classic Editions, which is what this one is, and I just love the simplicity of these covers. I just find them to be super, super pretty. They always come in really pretty colors, and they always have specially designed end pages, and yeah, I just like the simplicity of these books. Plus, I love flexi-bound books. Those are probably my favorite book formats to read, are flexi-bounds, because they just feel so nice. Question number 13 is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Number 1 is probably going to be the vast majority of the Land of the Elderlings books. I'm in the middle of a reread. I'm currently rereading Assassin's Apprentice right now, but I want to get through at least half of the series, or 16 books, so I'm hoping to get through at least 8 of them by the end of the year. That is my goal, because I'm trying to binge read the whole series. I also really want to finish The Count of Monte Cristo by the end of the year. I started this and I put it aside because I had a bunch of SFF books to read for the BookTube SFF Awards, so this kind of got sidelined, but I need to get back to it because I was enjoying what I was reading, and it's chunker, so I definitely want to get this one read by the end of the year. Next one I want to read is Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. I'm going to be buddy reading this with Richard in September. I'm very excited because I've been hearing its praises sung, and I cannot wait to get to it. Both Caitlin from Kitty G and James from James Chatham have really enjoyed it, and I trust their reviews, so I'm anticipating enjoying it myself. And then I also want to start picking up some new releases in the SFF genre. I've been really, really bad about keeping up with new releases in science fiction and fantasy, so I kind of want to stay on top of that and trying to pick up some this year and read them for myself instead of waiting until next year. It's hard to keep up, especially when I want to read older books, because I've been really in this kick of reading older fantasy, so. But yeah, aside from that, I don't have too many other big reading plans. Those are the ones I definitely want to get to, and my goal is to read some newer books, so we'll see if that happens. And finally, question number 14 is some of my favorite book community members. This is such a tough question because I love so many of you guys, but I'll just kind of list some of my favorites, and they'll be linked down below as well. But Richard from Richard Reads, James from James Chatham, Thomas from SFF 180, Elizabeth from Books and Pieces, Mercedes from Mercy's Bookish Musings, Myja from Myja Reads, Amy from Amy C Books, Angela from Coffee and Chapters, Indie Insomniac, Connor O'Brien, Trina from Between Chapters, and just so many more, guys. I love so many people in this community, and I'm finally getting better about watching videos. I've been having a really hard time keeping up with people's videos and watching them just because my schedule's kind of hectic. So I've finally been able to get back into watching some videos. It's amazing how cutting out Twitter time will free up other time. So yes, all these people will be linked down below, so be sure to check them out and subscribe if you haven't already, because they really do have wonderful channels with great content, and I highly recommend them all. Alright guys, that's it for the mid-year book freakout tag. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing some of my answers and some of the things I've been enjoying this past year and all of that good stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and until next time, happy reading. Bye!